the end of the word, they are responsible for telling about a condition or a disease or a procedure. Like for example, itis at the end of the word would mean inflammation. For example, pulpitis. Similarly, a word like pre in front of another word, use the word like for example, pre means before. Like example is prenatal, before birth. So the problem is that whenever we come across the word pre in front, we think that it is a prefix. There are some words where we have pre in front, but not a prefix. Very common error which we all make is postpone. So this lecture has been postponed. So if you want to say that this lecture has been advanced, people say this lecture has been preponed. Very few people, I think, are aware of the fact that there is no word called as prepone. Okay, it's not postpone, and therefore we have prepone. Okay, so postpone is one word. It is not post and pone. Okay, so there are a few words like this, where pre in front of a word or apparent word does not mean a prefix. So some examples I've given you here. Like, for example, if you consider the root word, leuco, okay? So, leuc means white. If you add a prefix to it, pre, and a suffix placia, and we use a combining letter O, okay? So, leucoplacia is a white patch. Leuc for white, placia for patch, with the combining letter O. If you add a pre in front, it becomes pre-leucoplacia, something which occurs before the actual leucoplacia is. As I told you, most of the words should have at least one root word. But there are locations where you can have two root words. Like here, electro, cardio. Okay, so we have two root words. And of course, the suffix here is a gram, and the word is electrocardiogram. Most often, the combining letter is O. Occasionally, we can have I as a combining letter. Example, lithiasis has got I as a combining letter. And not all words will have a combining letter. There are some instances where we don't use a combining letter. So the cardinal rule is that if the root word starts with a vowel, like for example here, emia, okay, so then there is no combining letter required. For example, anemia, we don't have anomia or anemia, emia, okay. So that is the cardinal rule regarding the basic elements of a word. So this was something which I came across online and I liked it. Polyamory is wrong. It's either multiamory or polyphilia. So mixing different languages, the roots of different languages can lead to confusion. For example, here, like polyamory, if you see, poly is a Greek word, amory for amorous, okay, is a Latin word. So they mix both Latin and Greek words. Okay, so they say either it should be polyphilia, philian to love in Greek, or multiamory, which is multi, is Latin, amory, amorous for love. Okay, so multiamory means having multiple loves, or polyphilia, the same thing in Greek. So it is mixing of the two different languages, roots of two different languages. Coming to oral pathology, if you look at this particular word, amyloblast, which all of you are familiar with. So if you look at the Greek origin of it, it means A plus melos plus blastos. That means melos is for limb, blastos means sprout. Okay, that's something which is sprouting. Okay, like a formative cell.